Hello, welcome to my page, Dr. Maintenance and Sons Gardening. If you've tuned in, you're probably wondering what you should charge. Well, I think the best thing to do, everyone charges different, and it all depends on, your individual circumstances. I think, part of it is being upfront with your customer. So I started off charging on an hourly rate. It didn't really work too great. It's okay if you've got, say, a lot of jobs, they're all close together and you can do them in kind of sticks. But I don't know, say you've got a job and you charge per the hour and it's quite a complex weeding job, which involves quite a bit of knowledge, quite a bit of skill. It's something that you're not really going to want to undercut yourself for. I recommend really charging per the job. Now, obviously, it depends on skill set and knowledge. So I don't know, from scarifying. Well, scarifying, it seems pretty simple, but there's still a lot of knowledge to it, including aerating as well. Even if you're using your weed killers and you've got your pesticides license, you've got to make your costs for that as well. And there's all your personal protective equipment you've got to account for. So, I tend to get to a job and I work out how long it's going to take me to get to that job. So I'm already accounting for my fuel and the time it's taken me to get to that particular job. And then obviously size up the job. What needs doing? Hedges, for an example. How big are the hedges? How much waste is there to take away? You're going to want to charge on waste as a standalone, as then your labour, then your costs of running your machinery. It all adds up. As a rule of thumb, I start my hedge prices from 190, being the smallest box hedges. But it all depends on your area you work in. I mean, you get a lot of people who'll offer to do it cheaper, but in my opinion, well, you get what you pay for, don't you? So yes, so there's various ways of doing it, depending on what your job entails. Grass cutting is fairly simple, but do they want it edged? Do you want to trim the borders? Depending on the size of the lawn, you could start a job. A normal lawn cut for me is, I call, a trim, mow and blow, and off you go. I mean, the minimum I'm going to charge is about £60 for a small lawn. Then obviously you've got the options of adding on lawn treatment as well, such as you can use various fertilizers. Obviously, I have a tendency to use Miracle-Gro, fantastic stuff. Scatter it on the grass as it is, kills all the moss. I think it's called 4-in-1. It's pretty good stuff. So yeah, obviously you can read what a lot of people call buying signs. You can read your customer. If you go there, you can see they're not going to be happy with the price. Well, don't waste your time. If they generally don't want to pay your costs, well, there's plenty more fish in the sea as well. So it's all about, and if you can build yourself up a good, decent customer base that are all fairly regular, that are all in sticks, that are fairly close together, you're laughing really. But I had this one old girl, fairly local to me, and she said, "Oh wow, £60 for a grass cut. That's really expensive. There's a lad used to come round mine and do it for a tenner." Well, yeah, we're at the end of the day, we're businesses. We need to make a wage, we need to make a living, and we also have costs, various costs. So from obviously your tax, your vehicle tax, your diesel, depending on what you're running, your insurance, if you employ staff, all these are varying costs. Obviously your petrol for your gear, your, your general cleaning and time cleaning your gear as well, and also, you know, looking after things, replacing bits, because, you know, everything wears out after a while and needs replacing. So in all fairness, you know, £60 is not a bad cost for a semi-small medium lawn. So at the end of the day, you've got, they're asking for a professional service, you're giving them a professional service. If they don't want a professional service, they want, you know, a young lad to do it for a tenner, well, that's fair enough. But I'm sure he'll probably be doing it for a while, and, you know, you get what you pay for. But, you know, the trick is just be honest, be reliable, be respectful, only quote what you can do. You know, make sure, you know, for an example, taking your waste away, always make sure you're right on how much you're charging for your waste. A lot of people do it, I've done it, where you quote a job and you think, right, X amount for taking the waste, X amount for the job, or so on. The first one I did was a conifer, and as you can imagine, I for one van load, well, there's actually 3 van loads, so you live and learn. But, you know, depending on your local place, you get rid of it. Obviously, your local refuge centre. I mean, for me, in a medium-sized van, that's about £111 per van load. So, I mean, another way you can do it is, if it's not a massive amount and you've got to take regular waste away, such as grass clippings, green bags, I think they're a fantastic idea. You can take them, you charge, I don't know, £10 per bag that you take off a property. You take them, if you've got somewhere to store them, you store them, and then, you know, when it all mounts up, you take it as one load. So it's all relative to how you want to work it. Yes, and another one is just honesty and reliability. You know, customers, if you tell them you're going to be there, you know, I'm not one to take many days off. I've got busy family life myself, and we've all got different circumstances, but try and be as reliable as you can. They're going to respect you for that. Do exactly what you say you're going to do. And yes, little touches here and there, you know, it never hurts. You know, there's an odd bed, small bed. Additionally, do a little extra weeding if you got time. Little bits, you know, they go a long way. Yeah, so just be respectful and honest. And yes, so, well, that's me, gotta go on my first video I'm posting. I'm now off to a small job, sort of local in Suffolk. 2 hours, but it's an elderly couple, another one of my regulars on my line. So thanks for tuning in and watching, and subscribe, like, and all that lot, and hopefully there'll be more content. Thank you.